Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone. How are you? Next time. Thank you. Good evening. We are continuing with relationship questions. So, we have quite a number tonight, so we're going to be quick about it. Harrison, good evening. How are you? I just want us to be 50 live before I continue. Please, if you're joining us for the first time, please let us know. Just type first time and let us know where you are joining us from. Kindly indicate your location. Let us know where you are joining us from. Thank you. I mean, everyone can let us know where they're joining us from. We just want to have that to help us appreciate how wide our coverage is. Thank you. So give us a share button, a like. All right, it's been exciting since we started addressing relationship matters. So to be good if you tell somebody about this. Okay. Oh, thank you, Daniel Gajiri from Kerek. Thank you for joining us for the first time. Oh, is that Pastor? Oh, Pastor. How are you, Pastor Daniel? Yeah, from Ibadan. Hi, how are you, Pastor Daniel? How is the family? Ola BC from Akure. Invite a friend and tell us where you're joining us from. Give us a like, a share. Yes. Wow. Been learning relationship wisdom. It's been awesome. Awesome. First time. Thank you. We still need more people to join us before we start. We're about 40 people now. Yeah. I need more 10 more people. And I want feedbacks on how this Insight with Apostle Jojo on Mondays, how it's been a blessing. Yeah. Ola came here a lot today. God bless you. Olabi, Olanike. Let us know where you're joining us from. It's very important. If this is your first time, say first time. And please, for the first time, kindly subscribe and like our page. Ogunshetiru Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. Okay. We are 50, you can be more, but we'll start right away. And this is your first time, you're welcome to Insight with Apostle JIDE Ojo, and it's going to be very insightful, like the name of this meeting is, and it has always been insightful. We have quite a number of questions. Please, let's have the first question.
Good evening, Daddy. This person says, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first question is that I grew up in a home that my father beats my mom at every opportunity he gets, and nobody will do anything to him. It affected the way I think about women because I am a gentleman, but I still feel that since he's my father, that I might have a trace of a beater if I enter a relationship, or better still get married. As I am writing to you now, I have never been in a relationship all my life, and I am 31 years. Please, what should I do?
Okay. First of all, let me say this, that bad character is not genetic. Bad character is not genetically transferred. Bad character is a decision based on knowledge, based on perspective, based on exposure, based on training. So, if you have right training, good exposure, you have the privilege to choose to be a different person apart from your father. So, bad character is never a genetic thing that you could say you inherited from your father. Of course, if you stay around people, they say like father, like son. It's not always true. that a father or a son turns out like a father. And the same people who says when a child doesn't turn out like a father, that means especially when that child is a bad child, they say he's a bastard. All right. So even when the DNA says otherwise, it's just a point to prove that when it comes to bad character and even good character, they are not genetically transferred. They are choices made based on exposure, training, and what have you. So you have the power to become a different person totally. All you just have to do is to expose yourself to right figure that represent manhood and fatherhood to you. And by the grace of God, I have a platform where I'm mentoring men, and it's been upon my heart to take that mentoring very seriously. We're going to make a form out between now and tomorrow for people, whether you're married or single, you want to be mentored as a man, you want to have a, a male figure that we present manhood to you in a brighter light. All right, I encourage you to join. So, like I said, it begins with you choosing not to be like your father. All right, it's never anything around who gave birth to you, how you were born. No, it's never. It's a choice. Okay, and you can make a different choice. Start today by saying, I'm going to be a different person. I'm not going to be like my father. All right. And then journey through that part that will first present to you the right image of manhood and fatherhood. And first of all, one of the things you have to understand is that women are not inferior to men. No, women are only different to men. I think, and if you can see that, it will really help you quite a lot. You know, our society, all right, see life from superiority and inferiority perspective. But you see, what God wants us to see, how God wants us to see life is from differences perspective. A man is different from a woman. For example, let's talk about pain threshold. I can tell you that women have a better pain threshold than men. Because for God to give a woman the capacity to go through labor, that's something quite painful, you know. And it's one of the highest pain anybody can experience. And such a woman will be willing to do it the first time, second time. So many, I mean, you have the older women who went through labor pain 7 times, you know. That is strength. So, you know, this idea that womanhood is weakness is demonic, is barbaric, you know, and you must not buy into it. Women are different from men, and there are many things a woman, for example, women have a stronger focus power than men. Yeah, women have a stronger focus power than men. For example, a man can only most of the time can only focus on one thing per time. But a woman, she can be cooking, breastfeeding, doing laundry, you know, and helping with the children assignment at the same time. You know, amazing. All right, an average man can't do that. I tell you. That's why, you know, a man needs to clear off everybody out of his life when he wants to focus. Okay, so that is real strength. So if all you reduce strength to is muscular, that itself is even a lie. There are women going into wrestling today. There are women going into, you know, field that, you know, were initially said to be for men alone. Okay, we have engineering field, construction field, you know, all kinds of field, you know, wrestling, runners. All right, there are people who run in races now, athletics. All right, if they put a man who is not trained beside them, they'll beat that man hands down. So I'm trying to let you know that, you see, it's better you first of all have a perspective that is correct when it comes to looking at people generally, that people should be classified based on differences and not in superiority or inferiority. It's a demonic thing when we begin to see life from superiority and inferiority. All right. And it goes across different area of our lives, you know. A different, for example, a doctor is not superior to an engineer. They are just different. All right. A doctor can't even repair his own car, no matter how cerebral he is. You know, when he has a car issue, he goes to the mechanic and submit to the instruction to the authority of the mechanic. All right, so begin to see life from differences. My wife is different from me. She's a precious, wonderful being, created, crafted to be different from myself. And I have to honor our differences. And the reason why marriages have issues today, many times, I mean, good marriages that still have issues. I mean, when I mean good marriages, I mean already the partners have gotten it right in choosing who should be their spouses, is because people refuse to appreciate and honor differences. I tell you, that is the reason why many relationships, both marital and otherwise, crack rather, because we refuse to honor differences. So that's the first lesson I think you need to learn as a man. Your mother wasn't inferior to your father. Whatever your father probably fought in your mother was why she was different from your mother. I mean, your father, right? Why she was different from your father. And so what you need is to understand that that bad character doesn't flow in the blood. The only challenge you have right now, that it has become a template over time that you need to change by going through a system of reculturing yourself or training yourself. All right, and I suggest that as mentoring, and in fact, God tried to do that a lot in a church. When God gives you, it's a limited picture you can have of a man of God. If all you see of him is a pastor, when you attend a church, you need to find a father figure in your pastor, I tell you, so that what God is trying to correct that went wrong from the family background cannot be corrected from your spiritual family, side. So my counsel to you is to be part of a training platform, preferably your church, all right, to help you have a new image picture of who a man should be. And like I said, we are starting a platform, all right, where people will be trained, men will be trained. And of course, my wife is training women, but we believe God to make it bigger next year. All right, so if you really want to join, watch out for the link once it has, and you can be part of it. God bless you. Yeah, is that it? That's the first question he has. Okay, what's the second question?
The second question says that I will be leaving Ekiti soon.
Okay, this person is in Ekiti.
Yes, sir. One thing I know is that apostle is truly a blessing to man. So I felt I should open up on a problem.
Okay.
I have been masturbating for 14 years now.
Okay.
And each time I try to stop it, I can't. It's becoming a problem that I can't solve. Please, sir, what do I do?
Okay, first of all, on you leaving Ekiti, if you've been part of our ministry, the good news is you don't have to leave NLCC. Okay, so we have been pushing a form out right now that if you are part of this house, and somehow it seems location is going to become an issue, we are building a cluster of friends, sons, partners of NLCC anywhere they are in the world, and we are forming a cell structure that we believe we birth churches like you have experienced in NLCC, and which is NLCC church anyway, being extended in your new location. So I just need to say that kindly reach out to our ministry line so that we can have your details and work around that. That's one. Now I've done a video on how to handle addiction on this page. Okay, so what I want to cancel you, because if I start talking about it took me like an hour to teach that. Okay, so if I start talking about that now, I won't answer any other question. So what's the name of that person? Is the name there? Okay, whoever that person is who sent that question, kindly go back to watch that video where I addressed the matter of masturbation. First of all, let me say this: no addiction is as powerful as it appears. It can be conquered. That's the first mentality you must have. You must have a conquering, able to win, capable of winning and dissolving, spirit. And once you approach that addiction that way, I guarantee you're on the winning side. I tell you. So watch out. God bless you.
Thank you, Daddy. So the next question says that, what if you are sure you are in a good or godly relationship, but there's been some wrong decisions? What do you do? I mean, you both have made some mistakes in the course of the relationship. What's the way around it?
Well, I want to cancel you. Get a mentor who you are accountable to. Get a mentor you are accountable to. Get somebody you are answerable to. And a decision both of you must make is that I would choose to respect this person, and we choose to be open to this person. And it's very funny when people claim to have a mentor, a voice, a father figure, spiritual father, which cannot be any of your families. You understand? Or I will not be biased, tell you the truth. It's very funny that when people say they do have a figure like that in their life, they are not sincere with that person. They lie, they hide their fault and all of that. And that's one of the major reasons why that person is in your life. The reason the person is in your life is to ensure that you make minimal mistakes. See, pastoring, mentoring, fathering, anyone you choose to pick in all of this, all right, should minimize your mistake in life. A life full of error is a life without a tutor. A life full of error is a life without a tutor, is a life without accountability structure. You will make less mistakes, and I can take myself as an example. Been married for 8 years this month by God's grace. All right, my wife and I had made little error. All right, and we have gone through seasons together, seasons in our finances, seasons in ministry, and we're going through more seasons. But thus far, we have made minimal error because we have a voice that we are not just accountable to, we are sincere with. Because anytime you put accountability and you take insincerity from it, what you have left is deception. And it's called self-deceit. So don't deceive yourself, all right? If you claim where is our pastor, but you can't say the way things are. Your spouse can't tell your pastor or your mentor and say, sir, my husband is doing this and all that. All right, you fight your spouse for doing that or vice versa. You don't have an accountability structure in your life. My wife doesn't need my permission to call my pastor, to call my mentor. And I don't need her permission to do that if there's need be. Okay? And that is what we call accountability. All right. There's a check and balance that you don't have control over. Do you understand? You are not the one controlling the effectiveness of the check and balances. It is a structure that runs independent of you. Then you are safe. And I always encourage that don't get into any serious thing with anybody who is not willing to have a serious accountability structure. Because when the journey becomes tough, you will need somebody who can straighten the head of that person. And if there is nobody, I tell you, you have it all vision in your hand. So you really don't want to go that path. You want to go on the path of minimal error through accountability. Yeah.
Thank you, Daddy.
So the right thing to do right now is get an accountability structure in your life. All right. For us in our ministry, that's why we encourage people not to do relationship without us being involved. Because we know there are mistakes you could make that you could repair it, but the impact will still be there. So to avoid having such mistakes, we say, okay, carry your pastor along and what have you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment, please. Yeah, go ahead.
The same person, sir, how do I coexist with a stepmother who clearly doesn't love me? This failed relationship is affecting everything. My relationship with my dad and my siblings. What's God's wisdom around it?
Number one, you see, when it comes to loving people, on your side, you are responsible. On their side, you are not responsible. So if you are dealing with your stepmom and your stepmom had made loving her difficult, all right, you still have to gift her your love. All right, but then there's also wisdom to manage such relationship. If it is practically impossible, all right, to be at peace with that person, I think the only language of peace is distance in that level. So you may need to engage your faith. You may need to keep a distance, believe God to be independent if you are of that age. All right, find something that brings you into minimal clashes, all right, with this person, all right, as much as possible. Yes, I pray for you that you won't have any reason to lose your father, all right, but a man's heart is controlled by the woman in a very large level. Every man is controlled by his spouse. All right, that's why you must choose your control. And I think it's vice versa, actually. You must make sure you make the right choice, because what you are choosing is your remote. All right. So it better be of a good influence so that it could be a godly control in your life. So especially for a man who wants a very peaceful home. All right, one part of peaceful is to allow voluntarily a measure of control on the either side of a marriage. Do you understand? So if I were you, I'll believe God for a measure of independence. All right. Similarly, get to a place where you will not lead your father because, all right, and then you believe God to prosper. The major reason why you can be a threat is maybe your father is doing well, one or two things your father have, and the woman feels that to be a distraction, all of this should belong to his own children and all of that. Well, a blessed man doesn't think about such inheritances, you know. So my own counsel to you, love them as a gift, but believe God for independence and make enough result to be important so that in later days ahead, your father will look for you. He will need you. Make sure you believe God to move from that place where you need him, all right, to a place where he will need you. All right. And at that point, you know, you are walking in dominion. So that might just be the wisdom you need.
Thank you so much, Daddy. Thank you, sir. The next question says, how can I tell if I share the same vision for marriage with my fiance?
Yeah, visions are not perceived until they are discussed. Visions are meant to be communicated. Okay, so you will never know if you have shared the same vision. You said your spouse, so I'm not expecting. I believe what you are saying is not that somebody who is asking you out because you already used the word spouse. All right, but on the two levels, all right, communication is the answer. So let me set an example. Marv and I, we had discussions, and I remember one of our discussions was around marriage bed, okay, how couples sleep. I grew up in a home where my mom and my dad most of the time shared the same bed. If there are maybe there are a few reasons why they don't, okay, so I mean, what I'm trying to say, they don't have daddy's room, mommy's room in the sense of, okay, daddy goes to sleep in a bed, mommy goes to sleep in a bed, okay? So if they share a different room at a particular time, or maybe for things very, very, not a fight, maybe heat, somebody feel more comfortable in a room because the place is cold, the other place is warm, things like that, you know. All right, for my wife, okay, first of all, her father stayed in another room while he was alive, and her mom stayed in another room. So that was the image she had, at least for the years the man was alive. And for me, it's strange. I mean, the man will stay in another room, the man will stay in another room. So when they want to have conjugal relationship, the man will now tiptoe at midnight, tiptoe, mommy wa, daddy wa lo soro, you know, kinds of thing. Okay, now why am I against that? The Bible tells us marriage is honorable unto all. It says a bed undefiled. It didn't say beds as in plural. All right, one bed. One bed is marriage. Not two beds, not three beds, just one bed. That's a marriage. Okay, the moment you have multiple beds, that's no longer a marriage. And that's why I am not in support of distant marriage, because distant marriage is multiple bed. All right, I always encourage couples that I know to make sure as much as possible that they crash the distance between themselves and they always have time to come together. So you know, so we had to discuss it. That's the understanding about marriage. You have to discuss it. We have to discuss it, because both of you grew up from a background that may even have things that are needed to be reconciled. Some of these traditions, perspective that each of you had grown up may actually not be scriptural, you know. And the scripture should, what you should both do, and that's my choice, what you should both do is to ensure that the standard you are trying to become conform to is the Bible. As much as, you know, you live as couples, you are looking for to conform to the Bible. Conform to the Bible. That's my choice. The Bible says marriage, the bed undefiled. You know, all right. Bed undefiled. That's what the Bible says. All right. So the moment you're having beds, I don't think that's what God's word says. All right. I don't think that's what God's word says. All right. It says the bed, marriage, Hebrews 13:4. It says marriage is honorable in hall, and the bed undefiled, not the beds undefiled, the bed undefiled. So that's it. You have to communicate. You have to ask questions. Please ask questions. I discover engaged couples don't have questions. They don't ask questions. They don't really talk deep. How are you? How are you doing? Oh, see your nose. Oh, my head is scattering. Yeah, I don't know that. You see, I tell you, there are days you will not remember the nose. So when you are done married, you will never remember the right size of the nose. Those are not the things that will matter to you eventually. I tell you, I'm telling you for free. All right. It will be the soul, how the person is able to catch you, the interaction, deep interaction you have together, and what have you. So ask questions. No, I don't think I agree with you. All right. And then it's okay to disagree so that you can eventually agree. I don't think I agree with you. Let's ask our pastor, what about this? One of the mentors, proteges rather, I have, sons and daughters I have that do this a lot. Even till now, they are my pastors in Ibadan. If they talk about it, I say, I'm a daddy. Let's go and ask that. And I just we laugh about it. And I just like their sincerity, the fact that they want to get it right and they don't feel that they are too big to ask questions and what have you. I mean, it's one of the things I celebrate about them, that openness and sincerity. They've never felt like are we immature to ask questions. They ask questions, discuss matters, real matters. And that's how to make the love stronger. Not you having, you have deep conceived notion you never shared. You just, this guy, I'm just looking at this guy. And that's your husband, though. You're just looking, that's your husband, that is this guy to you, that you're looking like that. So talk, discuss, ask questions. It makes all the difference. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Daddy. The next question says that.
I hope you are sharing this broadcast. All right. Please share. All right. And I want you to do something for me. I hope you will do it. That you cut a part of this video. There's a way you can do it and share it on your WhatsApp status, everywhere you can. Okay, so give us a share. Tell somebody. Okay, and if you are joining us from the first time, subscribe. Okay, subscribe, share, subscribe, like. Okay, and comment. Yeah.
What do I do if my family dislikes my fiance?
Okay, so there are phases you must go through. Number one, find out why they dislike your fiance. Sometimes they might have a very serious point that you should not throw away. For example, maybe he's very dishonoring, he's disrespectful, maybe he is not focused, and because at times that's why you should have a third party. All right. Sometimes we get so caught up in emotion that the things that will eventually make you cry in life, you will not see them. I mean, I'm telling you, you will not see them. So, and they will make you cry. You will wish you had listened to somebody was there to point it out to you. Okay? And so to avoid such damage, such pain in life, all right, you must have a third party that should be free to tell you who is not in love like you are. And those are not your friends. You could have a friend who is eyeing your fiance, who is envying you. So you can't say, well, I have some friends we are accountable to each other. No. There's a voice of a father, there's a voice of a mentor, and there are voices of friends. So we are not talking about that. The voice of a father, stop there, and all of that. And what I've seen over the time is how easily people can choose to be accountable about every aspect of their life, but when it comes to love matter, they don't want to be accountable. Meanwhile, I tell you for free, I was watching a short video by Pastor Yadebo. He said, if you are single here, make sure you get it right. Oh. He said, because if you don't get it right, your hell will begin from the earth. And I'm telling you, marriage is too serious a matter. You want to leave it to chances or to emotion. No, too serious, I tell you. So, listen to their voice. Let's know what they are saying. Okay. Number two is that if what they are saying is not scriptural, is not spiritual, it's just based on self. Because I've seen some parents, is that the person you want to marry? He's not tall. Can't you find men? And I want to marry that one. Or is that the person you want to marry? Can't you see he has big nose? You want to marry that one? You want to marry an Igbo man? You want to marry an Hausa man? So you want to marry a pastor with your life? You want to marry a pastor? If those are kind of matter we are dealing with, okay, the second step to do is to take it to prayer. take it to prayer. If prayer doesn't work as it were, it seems it's not working, the third step to take is to the third party who is involved in your relationship. All right, you should be informed even from the first day you have gone and it's look like a disapproval is coming. Now, that voice will cancel you rightly. For example, one of the things you could do is to look for a third party who is respected by your parent. All right, and then that person can get involved. If that doesn't work, then your mentor, your voice over your life can get involved. If that doesn't work, then we'll know what to do from there. So some people just jump. If you don't like, you don't like, you don't worry. I'm just gonna marry. I know that it's so serious. It's too serious than that. You can't just jump and go and marry like that. There are bridges and bridges and bridges and bridges and bridges you must cross. All right, and then even at that, all right, you must be sure because if this person you are talking about, all right, you also have to ask yourself, does it worth it to turn back from my family for this person? If it's just something that is just like an emotional gusher that you're experiencing that make you go after this person, the question you should ask yourself is that does it really worth it doing all of this for this person? Okay, and that's why the foundation must be very solid. You must know that okay, I got here by revelation, by conviction. So this is not something I will just let go for a flimsy excuse because what brought me here is stronger than the excuses. Okay, as somebody who have gone through that challenge, I can tell you, all right, that if you apply a bit of patience, all right, and it eventually works, you'll be grateful it did. If it doesn't, get your accountable structure involved. All right, they will supply the right wisdom that will help you do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daddy. Yes, sir. The next question says that how can I handle a controlling spouse?
That's a serious matter. All right. Have a third party over your life. You see that deals with a lot of things. Having a controlling spouse, whether as a man or as a woman, is a bad place to be. Marriage was not supposed to be between a controlling person and just a following person, as it were. Yes, there's followership in marriage, okay? There's leadership in marriage, but it's leadership by partnership. Marriage works as a team play, all right? And I see some marriages and I see how the wife is so afraid of her husband. Shashik, your daddy, that. And I'm asking, how did he ask you out? Did he ask you out with a voice of thunder, like Sango or something, And because was there any time, how did you people meet sexually? Was there any time, doesn't you come here? I'm just imagining, was there any time there was a bit of softness, tenderness in that relationship? Okay? See, those are the things you should never, never overlook. Controlling person will be more controlling in marriage. And I tell you, you will not become even half of what you have potential to become. You will not become half of what you have potential to become. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting what I'm talking about? So it's just a place you don't want to be, I tell you. Don't get to that place where, hey, come here, sit down here, and all of that. No, it shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. I tell you something. Anybody who is highly control freak has an esteem issue. Take it from me. It's a sign of esteem issue, which is highly dangerous. Because the impact of that is, down the line, you will not know how much you need to sacrifice to do just to make that person feel like he's the head. All right. You have to keep going low, becoming devalued, the more, and things like that for that person to feel like there's a connection. You will never be in love. That's just the truth. You don't want to end up there. All right. No, you don't want to end up there. So my counsel, see your third party. It's a matter to be discussed. All right. Listen to me. Listen. If any of you are in a relationship, be able to tell, see, I'm not free. I should be able to talk to you. I'm not free. How can I be? And let me tell all of you here, especially if you are here, those of you in a relationship with somebody who is far older than you, all right, there's a age disparity, age difference that is quite obvious. All right. If that person is not willing to become a friend, he wants to go to his age, he's going to look for his age mate too. All right, you are so cling to. It's even funny. People who use just 3 months. Am I your mate? That's a husband talking to us. Am I your mate? Anybody who is already talking like that, all right, does not know what it means to be in a respectful figure. To be a respectful figure. The moment you say, "Am I your mate?" Don't you know I'm your head? Anytime somebody is talking like that, that's a complex statement right there. Even when a man is disrespected, a man who understands what it means to be a man, he will never say that. All right. So, and that's one of these days, I'm going to talk to you about things to consider based on different picture. For example, should you meet a divorcee? What are the things you should consider if you must marry a divorcee? If you meet somebody who is older than you, what are the things you should consider? If you meet someone who is younger than you, what are the things you should consider? All right. I'm going to if you meet a minister, somebody's going to meet you, what are the things you should consider. All right, we're going to look at these maybe different areas, as time goes on. So we'll just take our time to trash. Maybe between now and February, we'll be trashing these areas and all of that, So
Thank you, sir.
yeah.
Yes. So the next question says that God told me this lady is my spouse. We got engaged and are trying to make it work. But there is no connection and the friendship is not there, even after 3 years.
Okay.
What do I do? Sometimes I wonder if we are not wasting time.
Okay.
The only reason we are together is because God said.
Okay.
Can we go ahead and marry like that?
All right. First of all, God said is one of the most powerful reasons you can be with the person. It's in fact for me, it's an enough reason. Now, but the idea of chemistry and relationship and friendship, all right, people have made it difficult as if it's a formula from heaven, as if this chemistry thing, it's only some set of people you can have chemistry with. Okay. Now, when you look down to what you call chemistry, there are two things, all right, that you should look out for. Number one, when it comes to chemistry, understanding differences in terms of personality, all right, in terms of temperamental differences, in terms of this is how a woman is, this is how a man is, all right. And the second thing you should look for is what you call love language. Okay. And some people really don't know how to love. I mean, they are not wicked. They don't know how to love. There was nobody around their life who ever mirror what it is to be loved. All right. They've never seen it. And while you are busy getting offended and say, can't you just think that you need to do this for me? Can't you just think that you need to be this to me? Can't you just think that the guy or the lady is purely innocent? Now, especially if, please, if you have a question, there's a number that we have to put it. If you ask a question, you're most likely I won't be able to answer because by the time I'm done answering this, the question must have disappeared. So the admin will put a link, a number, so I can forward your question. Especially, if it's somebody, who have gone through life in a very hard manner, where it seems life has not been very nice to that person. For somebody who grew up with the stepmom was not very nice and what have you. So for somebody who have been abused emotionally and what have you. So most of the time when you find people like that, either of the partners in that relationship have not gone through what I call relationship school. If you look at your life and it seems you are disadvantaged when it comes to relationship, the way you grew up, the way people who surrounded you, you never saw anything that reflected love, connection, and things like that. Deliberately school yourself. Get books. Get materials. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Get messages that talked about love. All right, that addresses what, if a female, what a man is expecting from you. If a male, what a woman is expecting from you. All right, because, truthfully, most of the connection issue is actually an ignorance matter. All right. And then the other partner not being willing to be a bit sacrificial to see that person grow to become better. Now, it's not enough for the person to be sacrificial to see that person grow, but also the willingness of that person to know he or she has a problem to solve, to acquire knowledge, and what have you. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Then also, there might be some physical things that you love that you have not sacrificed on the altar of your consecration. So, and which can affect what you call connection. So, you love a tall girl, but this is a short lady. Okay. So, every time you see her from afar, the first thing is, this girl is so short. And whatever. Those are things you need to be frank with. But let me say this to you. Every size desire that you have concerning relationship will eventually not matter. I'm telling you. So it's better you leave that for something more tangible, okay? Interact with the soul of that person. Please, can the admin pin that number? All right, okay. Please, what do I say now? Let the person, just create room to see the good part of that person. Interact with the soul of that person. That person might be so precious you don't even know. All right. For example, he doesn't know how to dress. All right. Those things are things you could work out. See, I've always tell people, don't lose a treasure because of things that can be worked upon. I'm telling you, it can be worked upon. You can change the way he babs. You can change the way he dresses. You can work on those things. All those things can be worked upon. So don't build your life on things that can be worked upon. I tell you, you'll be missing out. The complexion of that man. I don't like light and complexion person. I don't like that complexion person. You'll be missing out on the real content that God wants to bring you in connection with. All right, the person within the soul is that one that has the capacity to partner in friendship with you. Now, if you lose that, you may have a kiss called the body that you like, but that will be so disgusting eventually because of the state of the soul. So, if you look at that, because, listen to me, God will never lead you on a path that is not possible. That's what I'm saying to you. God will never lead you on a path that's not possible. It takes due diligence, all right, on your part to ensure that, yes, beyond being possible, you actually make it happen. All right, between you both. Yes.
Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah.
Yes,
and seriously, honestly, it took me time to even know there's something called connection or chemistry. Because, well, let me just start. What I needed to say, I've said it. Yeah.
Yes, so we have some more questions here.
Okay.
I would love Daddy to address the issue or notion of couples or engaged individuals having access or knowing their partner's phone password. Some believe it's not necessary, and some, for example me, believe it's very necessary. Okay.
I believe it's necessary. I'm going to share the rest of my life with you. That's a great capital that no market can pay for. You understand? And there's something in your phone that I can't have access to. Why? All right. If you don't trust me that much, why will you spend your life with me? Except for a woman, I'm going to be carrying your baby. You're going to be sleeping with me. I'm going to be eating my food. You mean you will eat my food, but you will not trust me with your phone? I can easily poison you with my food. But then your phone, I can't kill you with your phone. It's just very, 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 very unwise. If somebody is highly secretive, is keeping his phone. See, we are talking about Bible. I'm not talking about, the Yoruba marriage is what are you looking for in your husband's phone too? You women, mind your business. The day I married this woman or this man, mind your business was deleted from my dictionary. Because he has now become my business. How do I say I marry you? Now say mind your... Yes, that's actually what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to mind my business. The day I married you, you became my business. The day you married me, I became your business. The two were together and they were not ashamed. Now, yes, I'm cutting you, all right? But then, all right, you have already become my business one way or the other, all right? Give me your phone. Let me, this is my own phone. It's a different thing if you are hiding your phone and then let me say something to you. Begin to suspect when your openness to your relationship partner is not mutual. Begin to suspect when your commitment is not mutual. Begin to suspect when your investment emotionally is not mutual. You call that person, he doesn't call you at all. I don't like calls. There's nothing like that. When he was wooing you, he finished you with call. He texted you. He emailed you. If in fact, if it could be a voice, in your room, it would have been. Now that you have said yes, he suddenly became somebody who can't text or call or whatever. Excuse me. Don't take that as an excuse. Now, it goes back to one thing. Who are you both answering to? If you were answering to somebody, all right, somebody should be able to tell you, excuse me, when you were busy chasing this girl, all right, you knew you could call, you knew you could text, you knew you could send text message, you could send credit card. Now that she has said yes, it's no longer, no, that's wrong. That's very, very wrong. Many people are already dating somebody who maybe they are number 3 with them and they don't know. Just because you can't think wise, all right, is, there's nothing to hide. We're supposed to be talking about destiny here. How many people would I talk about something like that with? That now, when now comes to you hiding your phone, you are passwording. I'm married. My phone is passworded with both eye contact and even my voice, in a way. But and then there are, I guess, eye contact. My wife, I could put money. My wife has the second eye contact. She can open my phone. While in fact, it happens that she just tell me the next day, I was raising your child with social person. Maybe she didn't sleep early because she was nursing my baby and then our baby, and then she just pick up my phone to get her. Maybe she was getting bored, and she go through my messages. I know that. In fact, that for you is a part of safety. I tell you, is a part of safety. Is a part of safety. Sin and wickedness grow in secrecy. So if you have nothing to hide, you'll be safer for it. You'll be safer for it. Yep.
Thank you, Daddy. This question says, as a person who suffers gamophobia, that is the fear of commitment,
Okay.
what could be done to heal up, considering that he or she is more than willing to enter into a relationship, but the fear has been a very strong limitation?
Now, if you are afraid of commitment, maybe because you've been committed to the wrong person, maybe that's one, two, or people who have ever been committed around you, or have been doing it the wrong way. So, number one, you must first of all choose who you'll be committed to. And what do I mean by that? Let God be the one who lead you on the path of your commitment. If God leads you, see, fundamentally, the major problem of men is independent choices taken without God's involvement. That's it. Independent choice and decision taken without God's involvement. If you first of all let God lead you, let God lead you. That's the first thing. All right, let God lead you in the path of commitment. That's the first thing. Number two is, if you will do marriage the God way, relationship the God way, there'll be no reason to be afraid. The Bible says 2 are better than 1, but a 3-foot cord is uneasily broken. That means if it is 3, all right, it can be broken. But if it is 2, it will be broken. That means let 2 lovers marry together, they can be broken. But let 2 lovers with God, who has led them together, be together, they cannot be broken. Because what is binding them together is stronger than themselves. It's stronger than both of them. The strength of my marriage is not my character. The strength of my marriage is not my wife's character. The strength of my marriage is God that binds us together. All right, that's why if my wife offends me, all right, my walk with God regulates how I respond. For example, if you will just be a good Christian, first of all, there's some things that will not happen in your marriage. You can be a very solid Christian, good Christian, and you are physically abusing your spouse. You can't be a solid Christian or and some word, stupid, idiot, weary. You couldn't have been saying those words if you're solid Christians. You know, you understand? I mean, if you have let me say something to you. Doubt somebody who claims to be highly spiritual, but whose words have no control. You can say just anything. And in the name of I'm angry, it's just because I'm angry. No, you don't have a walk with God. Everybody knows how to get angry. Even the Bible says, get angry and sin not. All right. So, you know, it's very, very key that you understand this. What I'm saying to you is very, 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 very key. If you become a good Christian, now what happens these days is that we find if somebody who loves God become a good Christian, but the moment relationship comes into it, God is, you know, it just become, permit use the word daft. All right, you know, God just become irrelevant. All right, and it's because there's too many nonsense doctrine flying about choice making. You say the Bible says that finds a wife, I find a good thing, you know, another. So listen to me. It is you don't find a wife. All right. I mean, God doesn't find a wife for you. It is you that find for yourself. You're the only last person God found a wife for. All right. That's when they want to really lie to you. You said the last person God found a wife for was Adam, and if God even regretted. You didn't even read the story of Abraham and Isaac. How that Abraham sent Eliezer to a place he never knew, but send him saying, my angel shall go ahead of you and lead you. All right. And then he prayed. He said, Lord, it is the one I gave water to. All right. Let it be that one. All right. And to let you know, Abraham told his servant, go to my family member. That's why you should go and pick a wife. How do you know a family member? He said, let it be the one that first will collect water from me. You know what? God ordered that woman's step. There are other families there, but why was it our own family, the family member of Abraham that came out to collect water? Is divine leading. That's what you don't know. So it is not true. See, can't you find out that people who are using their eyes to look and to find marriage, all right, and they even look at, they have found it so well, all right, they are divorcing today, all right. A lot of people today, and I've seen a lot of your people, even when they come to meet me, say, God is leading us together. Otun paro, you are lying. Because you are in love, because you are in emotion, you are lying. For something that you will wish that somebody was able to talk to you. So, God still leads today. All right, he led me. I can say it outrightly. In fact, the time he led me to my wife, I wasn't thinking relationship when he led me. I can say that I have a wife God gave me. My spiritual father, he has a wife God gave him. All right, my mentor has a wife God gave him. The people that are solid in my life, my covenant friend has a wife God gave him. All right, I have a son, a brother. I'm going to invite his wife here. All right, the wife was first his protege before he became a wife. All right, so we are going to host him one of these days. All right, so you know, I don't believe in all those nonsense people say. You know, I know that you hear, you know, and that's why there's a lot of troubles. When people want to sound popular, they say things that look politically correct, but they are not necessarily scripturally correct. How can you have a walk with God, and God is not interested in leading you to marry, but is interested to tell you what job to do? Eh? Think about it. It's a lie. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Daddy. So we still have some questions coming in, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So this question says that if I'm in a relationship where we used to have sex, and along the line got saved by Christ, my partner also got saved at almost the same time, not by me, he got saved on his own, and we came to the conclusion to end every form of intimacy between us. And we have been doing well for 8 months now. No form of intimacy since then. Is this right? Should I have ended the relationship?
If you listen to my counsel, a part of relationship, you know, that you have gotten right is that you shouldn't be sexually connected with your spouse. But there's much more to that. When it comes to salvation, the next thing God introduced to you is your purpose and calling. All right. And it is in that light that you even know if somebody is qualified to feature in your life as a spouse. So you are putting the cart before the horse, and that's very terrible. That's going to lead you to a problem later in life. Yes, you'll be emotionally connected because especially you share the bed together, okay? But the good news is God has forgiven you. God is not seeing you in the light of that. And I really appreciate you for seeing that to be wrong, but your job is not complete. It is not left for you to decide now, because the more you meditate a lot of your life, you have committed the right to decide that area of your life to the Lord. it is not now left to you to choose to continue. It is right for you to stop. And if the Lord is leading you together, all right, it's a different thing. And which you can't say right now. And I will doubt if even when I telling me right now that God is leading you together, just almost immediately you got saved together. Because you need to grow, you need to design God's purpose for your life and whatever. Yeah, it's painful. Both of you have shared some things together and you feel like you wish, all right, the person you share these things together with, you don't have to lose one another. But destiny, God's plan for your life is deeper than that. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Is the next phase after your salvation is to understand God's purpose for your life, understand His leading for your life, which will eventually, lead to whether you are going out with somebody or not going out with somebody, or whether maybe in the program of God you don't even need relationship right now. All right, you don't need relationship right now. What you need at the moment is your faithfulness to God, cultivating your walk with God, all right, what have you. Because even though you are not sleeping together, most likely the principles by which you run relationship when you were together is this what you are using right now. So you're still very wrong. Do you understand? It's painful, but right now, get somebody to be accountable to who can see you through that phase. If you want your life to become all that God has intended to become, that this cancer is for you. But if not, all right, it's not a very popular cancer, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So this question is from Wisdom in Cameroon.
Oh, wisdom in Cameroon, awesome.
How do you conform your spouse by revelation?
Conform. That word is powerful because first, okay, is it confirm?
Confirm, sorry.
How do you confirm your? How do you confirm? What did you say now? Your spouse by revelation. Now, let me say this to you. In the journey of walking with God, God should have been talking to you on different areas of your life. Now, I can tell you 100% that if the first thing you thought you have ever had with God, had from God rather, is, I mean, let me give it 98%. If the first person you ever thought, the first thing God ever spoke to you about your marriage, there's fire on the mountain, is unlike God. God doesn't start dealing with people from the complex to the simple. You know, God is a tutor, He trains people, okay? So the question is this: how did you know God's plan for your life? How did you know, some decisions you've taken and you could say, this is a God in my life? How did you know that? Now, it's the same way, because also one thing about spirit, and God is a spirit, is that spirit works in pattern. Okay, it's the same pattern that God is going to deal with you, or when it comes to your matters. So if you have not learned how to hear God at all, okay, I want you to kindly look for on Telegram page NRCC messages, and when you get there, ask for the admin to help you with a series that I taught for about 14 weeks on how to hear God. Do you understand? No, God doesn't deal with you from the complex to the simple. He deals from the simple to the complex. That's what I'm trying to say. If I said it otherwise, I was wrong. God deals with you from the simple to the complex, not from the complex to the simple. All right. That's the training of God. All right. God will not start with, because He will give you room to miss it while you are learning how to hear God, such that when the major aspect of that comes up, you have mastered the art of hearing God so well that when destiny area comes, you don't miss God. Okay, so I want to go for those messages, digest them, learn them. I mean, they are basic from the simplicity of what it is to hear God. All right, up for that way. It will really do you a lot of good. If I'm right, it was about almost 15 to 16 weeks of teaching that is very transforming. So that's my answer for you. I hope it helps you. Wisdom, I'm happy you join us from Cameroon. All right, make sure you subscribe to this channel and always share what we do. God bless you. We'd like to contact and connect with you. We'd like to connect with you. God bless you. No.
Thank you, Daddy. So we still have about 4 questions now.
Okay, we still have about 4 questions. Can I just take one more and then we transfer the rest for next week? I think that would be good. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Right, sir. I would like to take these 2 questions together.
Okay.
How does one handle being in a relationship with someone that is called into ministry?
Okay.
That's the first part. The second part says, how do you court them and enjoy friendship while still honoring the call of God upon their lives?
All right. First of all, how do you go into relationship with somebody who's called into ministry? Number one, accept God's plan for their life. Accept God's plan for their life. Number two, sincerely ask God, what is your role in the assignment? All right. Why do I say sincerely? Because just because you are in a relationship with somebody who who is going to ministry does not mean that you will automatically find yourself in some levels of ministry. I mean, there are just many areas of ministry that you don't need necessarily, as it were, a call to feature in. For example, administration. You could help your spouse get involved in the administration part of the ministry. Quite a lot of things that that you could do for us. You could do for ministry, because I'm a minister. That's why I said the word for us. You could do for a minister. So you could mentor people. You could mentor the females. If you're a lady, all right, or you could mentor females and all of that. So the first thing is you need to accept them and see. It is not a death sentence to be in a relationship with somebody who has a call of God upon them. And these days, God has been good. God has been good, man. I mean, God has been good. Our fathers suffered because there was some measure of light that was absent in the early part of ministry. We know the will of God for us is to prosper, to enjoy the goodness of God and what have you. And so it has cut short the years of processes, especially when you work in divine alignment and accuracy with God's plan for your life. So it cut down the year of process. So ministry is not a death sentence. It's not like you're signing for a life of poverty. Like many people, you could find quite a number of people who probably are suffering. But all right, the range of why they suffer is wide. I think the center of God's plan for their life. Some people started ministry for no reason, all right, because they were gifted. They sort of feel being this gifted, you should do something else and all of that. So all of that, no. All right, you find somebody who is trained in ministry, even when he runs an apostolic ministry. What I mean by that is when he's heading a ministry, all right, it shouldn't suffer. If he learns from the right place, it shouldn't suffer. The faithfulness of God will be tangible in their lives, and they've learned the journey of faith. So that is the first thing, that ministry is not a death sentence. Accept them. Then the third thing I want to say to you is that you must be willing to grow. You see, this is the challenge with many minister spouses. All right, there are things you can learn in ministry. They are not impacted, they are learned. All right, the understanding of God's word can be learned. You study and grow. The reason is because an average person who is called in ministry, we have a measure of hunger that an average person who is not called into ministry will not have. And so that will give them the impetus to want to learn the word, hunger for the word, and what have you. Now, if he goes for the word, that's the one who is going to ministry, and you are not growing in the word, the time will come, he will be reasoning at a far height. And you just be down there, and you not be like, I'm not even connecting. This ministry thing is just too much for me. So what do? All right, attach yourself. Be the first student of that person. Be the first member of that person. Be the first fan of that person. You find him reading a book, you say, sweetheart, please, when you are done with that book, can I have that book? All right, now, the beauty of that is this. Because I notice the temptations as a man of God to be willing to teach people who look up to you. And if your wife or your spouse doesn't wisely take the posture of a student, you will be more connected when it comes to deploying your grace to people who look up to you than your spouse. So, you must be the first student, be the first fan, be the first admirer, be the first, and that's what, if there's one thing I appreciate about my wife, all right, the way she listens to my message, the way she listens to my message. Sometimes I wake up, maybe I'm sleeping at night, and I wake up, I find her listening on YouTube on my message, just listening and praying and all of that. And that's the way it ought to be. That's the way it ought to be. That is the way it ought to be. Now, on the side of the minister, he is responsible to create a conducive environment that will facilitate friendship. All right. If you say, are you talking to me? Don't you know you are talking to an apostle of Jesus Christ? Have you forgotten that in April 94, God appeared to me in a vision and told me I have a fireful ministry like Elijah. If you talk to me like that, you are touching the anointed one and things like that. I will calm down. Jesus, even though highly anointed, all right, was practically human among his people. He slept. Disciple knew he was sleeping. He ate. He was hungry. Okay? All right. I hope that when you want to sleep with that woman, you say Elijah wants to sleep with him or with her, What have you? So I'm trying to say to you is in a simple term, if the man of God need to create a conducive environment, he's the one that can reduce the tension. All right. When I met my wife, when we first started, we used to call ourselves Bro JIDE, Sister Fumi. She knew I was going to ministry. So I did something. One day I said, can we throw away this Bro JIDE? All right. I said, all right, let's call ourselves by name, JIDE Fumi. And then we graduated to bringing a pet name into it. All right. Then I started calling her baby. I saved a phone number with my baby. I've saved a phone number since my undergraduate days as my baby. All right. I created that conducive environment. All right. That is what it ought to be. So now, if it's going to happen that way, somebody must be in your life, both of you, who will mirror the possibility of honor as a spouse to the anointed. All right. And in fact, in some cases, if both of you are anointed, honor must be mutual. All right. Because the anointing on your spouse too, you may need it one day. I mean, the wife. Honor must be mutual. When she stands in her office, receive it in honor. When your husband stands there, receive it in honor. All right. That is a ministry. But you are now need to take it to another level. There is honor in marriage. The headship honor in marriage. All right. In fact, that honor in marriage for me is most powerful, all right, than the one you are even thinking in the light of calling and what have you. Do you understand? If you get the honor in marriage right, I don't think the man of God would have any reason to feel except he has a complex issue, to feel that you do not honor him as a man of God. Because, I mean, there are only two places you are expected to receive your head in the place of Christ: ministry and marriage. All right. So if you get it right, all right, being the head in the marriage, independent of whoever has the call, all right, and then you submit it. But if it happens that you are the man, you are not called, and you are supporting a woman who is called or received the gift of God, all right, but then she must be educated enough to know that no matter the fire on her head, all right, you are still the head of that marriage, all right, and should be received, all right, as the head of the marriage, according to what the word of God says. So, but if it happens to be the man, all right, you create a conducive, and if that happens, okay, you as a woman create a conducive environment that lets the man know that, okay, even though you are burning with fire and brimstone, and all of that, all right, you are still a baby at heart. You still want to be tenderly cared for and what have you, and then you create the atmosphere that facilitates that romance. I hope this is good enough.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So have I answered the two questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so we're going to continue next week. We've done 12 minutes longer than we wanted. I think we can make this thing go further than it is. I want to share. Do me a favor, cut a part of it and share it, on your platform. Cut it. You can do a video screen recording, and send it out and let us bless lives and let them come back to watch. All right, this video. All right, it's going to be 7 p.m. next week. It's going to be a great time. See you by then. I love you. Bye.